Hello and welcome to the Matrix video tutorial series. Today we will be talking about using the single line display. We will be talking about in this video how to move columns around, how to add new columns to the display, how to remove columns from the display, how to customize those columns, how to save a custom display, and how to revert the single line display back to the default. When searching in Matrix, you will by default be taken to what is called the single line display. This display shows a quick snapshot of information about the listings that match your criteria and can be customized so that it displays the information that you desire. The first type of customization that we can do on the single line display is move the position of the columns. To move the position of a column, hover over the heading of the column until your arrow becomes a four-pointed cursor, and then click and drag that column to the desired location. Release, and that will put that column into that location. The next type of customization that we can do on the single line display is add new columns to the display. Click on one of the headings of the columns when your cursor becomes a four-pointed arrow, and this will bring up a menu. You can then click Insert Column and select the type of column that you wish to add. Click Apply, and this will add the column to the display. When adding columns, you can also search for the column that you wish to display. To remove a column from the display, hover over the heading until your arrow becomes a four-pointed cursor, and click to bring up the menu. Then click Remove Column to remove the selected column. Columns can also be customized by changing their heading as well as changing their width. Hover over the heading of a column until it becomes a four-pointed arrow. Click, and then you can change the heading of that column. You can also change the width by putting in a pixel number or clicking the auto fit to fit it to the maximum size displayed. You can also change the alignment if you want to change how those texts are displayed within the column. When you're done editing a column, click Apply, and this will save those changes. Matrix will remember any customization that you do on any columns in between searches. If I leave this page and then perform a search, all customizations that I have performed on the single line display will remain. This display can also be saved as its own custom display by clicking on the Manage Displays icon and then clicking Save as a copy. This will create that display as an option from the Display drop-down box. I can then rename this display by clicking on the Manage Displays link again and then putting in a name. Note, when putting in a name, be sure that your cursor stays on top of the menu or else the menu will shrink. Click Save Changes, and this will set that name for this display. Now that we have saved our customized display with its own name, we can return our single line display back to the default. To do this, first click on Single Line Display, then click on the Manage Displays icon, and click Revert Unsaved Changes. This will return the single line display to its default settings. That concludes this video in the Matrix video tutorial series, and now for a quick lesson recap on what we learned today. First, we learned how to move a column within the single line display. We hover over the column's heading until our cursor becomes a 4-pointed arrow, and then we click, hold, drag, and drop the column into the desired location. We then learned how to add a new column to our display. We'll hover over any of the column's headings until our cursor becomes a 4-pointed arrow, and then click to bring up the menu. We then click the Insert Column button to bring up a list of available columns, select the column that we wish to add, and click the Apply button. Note that you can use the search feature at the bottom of the menu to look for columns to add. We then learned how to remove a column from our single line display. Hover over the column to be remove's heading until our cursor becomes a 4-pointed arrow, and then click to bring up the menu. Click the Remove Column link, and this will remove that column from the display. We then learned how to customize a column. Hover over the column's heading that we wish to customize until our cursor becomes a 4-pointed arrow, and then click to bring up the menu. From the menu, we can adjust and change any of the settings or heading of the column. Finally, we learned how to save a display. We click on the Manage Displays icon located in the top right corner of the results. Click on the link that says Save as a Copy, and then we can rename that copy by clicking on the Manage Displays icon again, and then entering a name into the box and clicking Save Changes. Note, when entering the name into the box, make sure that your cursor stays over top of the menu, or else the menu will shrink away. Finally, we learned how to restore our single line display back to the default. First, we click on the single line display link located in the middle top of the results. Click on the Manage Displays icon, and then we click Revert Unsaved Changes to return the single line display to its default settings. Thank you for watching this video in the video tutorial series. If you have any questions about Matrix or any of its features, please contact your friendly local board staff.